All right, we're running back to the car because it is crazy out here. Go, go. Get in the car. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Macklin here from Knowledge Growth Educational Services, and we're on our way to the Dismal Swamp. We'll be talking about the Maroon Colonies. See, right now we live in Chesapeake, so we're on the southeastern part of Virginia, so we're kind of going inland somewhat to Suffolk. And from where my house is, it's about, look at the map, it's about 38 miles, 40 miles from where we are. So it's going to be about a 40-minute trip. And when we get there, we're going to, like I said, discuss the Maroon Colonies that were flourishing back as early as the 1500s. Why we chose this entrance as opposed to other ones, because where we are, we live closer to the canal entrance, and you can't really get down there unless you have a boat. And even so, if you do get down there, it's going to be a little ways before you're able to get to some land. This way, we're actually able to walk. Which one exit? We're able to walk a little bit, and from what I hear, they have some educational points on the trail, so we'll look at those. But stay tuned. We'll be there in a little bit. So, like I said, we're on our way to Suffolk right now, and we're trying to get there before some crazy storm was supposed to hit this area around like 3 or 4 o'clock today. We was getting alerts all this morning, flood warnings, all of that stuff. So, decided to pack the kids up early in the morning and head on out here. Right about maybe another 30 minutes away, maybe a little less than that. So we'll check in once we get settled down in the swamp. All right, so slight detour. We're almost there, about 20 minutes away, but I just looked under the directions, and looks like we'll be driving for some ways. And I'm in Suffolk, so I'm not confident that there's a gas station close to the swamp. So we saw one. Yeah, you're right, it probably isn't. We saw one at the entrance here by where we're on Washington Street now, so decided to turn around real quick, get some gas. Be back on the road in a few minutes. You good, buddy? All right, so real quick, so I'm driving down through Suffolk and trying to get to the swamp. And I noticed, this looks like the black part of this area, and I say that to say this: I'm guessing it is a direct correlation of the proximity of the Maroons from where they were in Suffolk. So it's only natural that I'll talk about this later about when the Maroons actually came out of the swamp. During Civil War, they integrated themselves into society as freed African Americans. And what was your question now?
There's someone in Peanut Warehouse that, like, there's an abandoned one, and then there's 2 that seem like they're in business or working.
Yeah, they're probably running. I mean, these peanut companies have been in Virginia for hundreds of years. It was one of the main crops to grow in Virginia. So,
I thought that was tobacco.
Oh, tobacco too. Tobacco, peanuts, especially in this area. This is peanut country right here. Suffolk's peanut country. All right, so we are here.
Are there people out here?
Huh? All right, so we found the right entrance. We're going down to the park, I guess. This is the main road. As you can see, the park coming up, but it's a little bit of what we're going to deal with. This is saying all vehicles permanently required. I just want to walk. This is making it harder than what it has to be. Like, I'm out here. I don't know if I should. This says stop. But as you can see, there's no one here.
Private.
All right, so quick update. We are at one of the entrances of the Dismal Swamp, but I don't want to go all the way down there because there's a stop sign that says stop for cars. And I don't know if there's a turnaround area down there. I almost ran into the ditch coming up here a few minutes ago because there was 2 cars coming my direction. So we kind of had to make room for each other on the road. But yeah, so quick update so far. I've been bitten by 3 bugs. I stepped up my car for 2 minutes. There are bugs everywhere. God knows there are bugs everywhere. I should have worn some long sleeve. I might have come back out here. When I have long sleeves and a hat on.
I have a long sleeve hoodie in front.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if you can see this, but there are bugs attacking my car us right now. It's crazy. And we haven't even stepped outside the car yet. So we're on the trail right now. As you can see, this is we're in part of the swamp right now. They actually made a trail. As of right now, the main animals that are in the swamp are the bears. Bears are the main thing. Of course, you got the snakes, the water moccasins, things of that nature. But years ago, they had panthers. There aren't any more panthers here. Watch out, Cliff. Don't touch it. So stay off that, okay? All right, so we're too busy smacking bugs around here, but yeah, no, Jesus. All right, we're running back to the car. It is crazy out here. Go, go. Get in the car. Get in the car. So.
Anyone see that snake?
You saw a snake?
It was crawling up the tree.
Poison ivy.
So, we did not get down the swamp at all because the bugs started to attack us. And my daughter said there was a snake.
On the tree.
On a tree. Was it the big one?
It was like about that long.
So we ran back. And, God knows. Yeah, so next time we're going to make another trip out here. We're going to come with long pants, hats, bug spray,
Pants.
and everything.
Pants.
So stay tuned.
Pants.
What I wanted to do was take this time to kind of explain what we want to talk about while we're at the swamp. We're going to go back eventually in the next couple of days more prepared. So make sure we have some long sleeve shirts on, things of that nature, and mosquito spray. But so we want to talk about the Maroon Colonies in the Dismal Swamp. The Maroon Colonies were a flourishing communities of Black Americans that escaped to the Dismal Swamp to avoid slavery. A lot of these people, after a while, their kids, they never saw white people because they were so self-sufficient in the swamp. This Dismal Swamp right now is about 190 square miles. Years ago, back in the 1600s, it was about 2,000 square miles. Vast land, very dense woods, very difficult to get through. And that was the purpose. As early back as 1619, when the first enslaved people came to Virginia, they actually started to escaping towards the Dismal Swamp as soon as they got here. So, there was no easy way to bring slaves into Virginia. Many slaves resisted by running away, and they did so by going to the swamp. And what they found when they got in the swamp were actually very habitable islands that were there deep in the swamp. Right now, there's about maybe 1,000 smaller islands, close to 1,000. But years ago, there were thousands of islands, and these islands were actually raised above the swampland to where you can actually build a house and not have to live in the woods. There are some artifacts that suggest that some people actually, they did live in the woods, that some people may have lived in trees, building tree houses, but as you can see with the video we went to, I mean, the mosquitoes, the bugs were relentless. So where we were was actually not too far from what is called Washington's Ditch. If you're not familiar with Washington's Ditch is the first ditch that George Washington, the first president, he actually started to cut canals into the swamp. There were lot of trees, and all those trees equal lumber. So he wanted to have his own stake into the swamp. This happened, it wasn't until the mid 1700s when he started to do this, but he had his slaves go through there every day and dig a ditch. And just think about the harsh conditions of a ditch. You have water that's up to your chest. You have water moccasins swim by you every day. Many of these enslaved people died. Many of these enslaved people died every single day. It was a very dangerous job. And if you actually look at the ditch, they were able to make some progress. But when you're trying to deal with nature, you're going to have to go through natural barriers. Like I said, water. Lots of people getting sunk down in the mud. Lots of people being attacked by vicious animals. And George Washington just would get another one of his enslaved people and jump back in there and keep on digging the ditch.